Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Starbucks. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, of course, we have Jim Rosati. Jim, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How we doing after this daylight savings weekend?
I'm excited. I mean, of course, I hate the act of losing an hour of sleep, but boy, do I love an extra hour of sunlight every day. So, I mean, I guess typically it's not extra hours, the same hours, but it's lighter, longer, and that is always a good thing for the mental state.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is the elite time period. The other time period stinks. We should just be in this time period all the time.
Absolutely.
There's no reason why we should have to switch our clocks. There's no reason why we should ever have to lose or gain an hour. Just keep it lighter in the day, longer all the time.
I'm with it. Vote Jim. Let's do it. No, but no, I'm excited about that. Absolutely.
I could have
and
sworn
you know what?
they
It's another thing that just when that happens, you just know baseball season is closer.
That too. Yep. I could have swore though that they did like make this permanent, didn't they? No, didn't they pass some law like to? I feel like every year there's some chatter about how there's going to make daylight savings time permanent, and it never happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's always discussion. I feel, but no, it has not happened.
Unbelievable.
There's a battle of the other end though too, which that sucks. Because it's like, no, when I wake up, I want it to be sunny. I want to wake up and be refreshed and start the day off because the sun's out. I'm like, no, stop it. I need sun at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that.
Right. But anywho, so there is that. But there is also Pirates baseball to talk about. And before we do, let's of course let you know that BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. So, Jim, Pirates. Actually, are they still first place Pirates in the Grapefruit League? I don't know. After yesterday's loss, that might be in jeopardy. But
yeah, I'm not sure. Nor do I care much.
You care. I care because the Grapefruit League champs tweet is going to hit so hard.
So as of right now, the Pirates are a half game out of first.
Damn.
Yeah, Grapefruit League's champion, though. Grapefruit League champion would, again, I would need to buy that T-shirt.
For sure. But yeah, so the Pirates are, they are 9-7, though. Nothing. if stats don't matter, record sure as hell doesn't matter. But let's just talk about what are kind of the vibes going on right now with spring training, that we're about halfway through. We understood coming into the year, the pitching was probably going to be pretty decent. The offense was going to lack. That still remains. Fair.
I would say that seems to be the case right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the narrative going into the season seems to just keep getting reinforced. I would agree.
Yeah. I agree as well. But however the case be, we knew that was going to be the case. How do you feel though? How do you feel so far about this team? What vibes are you picking up?
I'm still very down on this offense. Like I outside of Reynolds, Cruz, there's still no one there that you can like really rely on. And even Horwitz when he comes back, like put up really good numbers last year. Projections all look really good this year. But even him, like he's never put it together for a full season.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of players on this team who have had a full season of good offensive baseball. At least recently. You know, you got some veterans who were brought in. We'll talk about that here in a bit, but what's the ceiling on those guys? Like there's a limited ceiling to those older guys who have been around for a really long time. They're good ball players, but you know, they're 37, 38 years old now. Outside Cruz and Reynolds, it's hard to see where the bulk of this offense is going to come from.
Well, it's very true. You know, there was our concerns coming in, and there's just a lot of what ifs. This person clicks, that person clicks. And, you know, part of it, some things are looking positive in the sense of, you know, hey, Brian Hayes seems to look healthy. He's got a new swing. He's got both hands on the bat. Maybe that's going to help him stay healthy. He's still hitting the ball hard. There's Joey Bart, who is on a tear right now. All right, we talk about that catching position. Endy's looking pretty good. But it kind of seems like outside of that, yeah. Like again, it's spring. Like you're not going to take too much away. But you know what Jared Trillo is doing right now makes you feel like, well, that's why we're unsure about things, right? What Nick Gonzalez is doing right now, that's why we're kind of unsure about things. Like people have to step up.
I will say this,
aren't
you
really
mentioned
doing much in the power department at all.
Yeah, I'll say this, like you brought up the catching situation, like that is something that's been encouraging. Endy Rodriguez particularly, he has been probably the guy who, you know, outside the normal, you know, guys who you expect to be on this 26-man roster, Endy's probably been the most impressive to me. Just making good contact, spraying the ball. Like he's looking like vintage Endy so far this offseason. And he's doing it against pretty good competition too. Like you saw him have a good game against Skubal over the weekend. So Endy looks pretty good, which is encouraging.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Henry Davis so far looks pretty decent as well. Decent behind the plate. So like there's some things that, you know, are standing out that you want to see. But I think like to your point, the offense as a whole right now, what you're seeing and stuff is kind of what we were thinking coming in, you know, like Cruz, Reynolds. I mean, Reynolds, it doesn't matter what his spring looks like. Like again, like with Cutch, like it doesn't matter what their spring looks like. They're gonna be good, right? But again, outside of that, and the other thing too is like with the power. I mean, I know Matt Gorski's hitting some nukes, but is Matt Gorski really going to be on the team? Probably not, right? You're not going to rely on him as a power source. You know, like where is the power coming from this team? And it kind of shows. You know, there really isn't a whole lot of power outside of Reynolds and Cruz. I don't know. Maybe Tommy Pham.
Like, yeah. Pham's not going to give you more than 10 homers, most likely. Cutch is probably the other guy where even at his age, you're like, I feel pretty good of at least double-digit homers there. And you hope Bart's there too. But yeah, you're just, and this isn't like, I don't think anything in spring would have changed our minds on this. Like if someone all of a sudden hit a bunch of, like if Tommy Pham was sitting at 5 homers right now, are you thinking, oh, Tommy Pham power surge coming? Like, not really.
No, but if it was Jack Sawinski,
yeah, even then, like, I'm not moved.
Jim, you've done it. We've all done it. Homers. We've all done it.
We are. It's easy for me to say since no one's doing it, I guess.
Right. If Brian Hayes had 5 home runs right now,
we'd be talking
new revamped swing and looking as healthy as he is, it's like, oh, you know what? He's healthy. We're good. Let's do it, baby. We know he can do it. Jack Sawinski, we know he can do it. So, but to your point though, is we shouldn't, but there's also not a reason for us to.
Yeah.
Anywho. Yeah. I don't know though. Again, the vibes the offense isn't like totally inept. It's not like how it's been years past, I guess. Again, like there are some options, like we're talking about some of the depth you're seeing perform a bit. But yeah, but on the other end, the pitching side, like the pitching looks, there's reasons why you're excited about this. And I think with the bullpen, I'll say there's, I think, reasons to be maybe a little more excited than we were coming into the season, because there's a lot of options in the bullpen. A lot of options are looking pretty good as well. So I guess that's kind of my takeaway. I feel really strong about the pitching at this point.
Yeah. Before we get any further, do want to tell you about Bet Online. It's the world's most trusted betting
I
platform.
already did that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I thought you missed that. I was going to do it because I thought you forgot.
Nope.
I guess I need
Literally-
more coffee this morning.
Yes, you do. We really want to make sure you guys are aware.
Yeah,
Bet
make sure
Online is
you
the
guys
most
go to
trusted.
Bet Online.
Yeah.
Well, I was just reminding the people.
Good.
No, continue. Continue.
All right. But no, I think that's basically it. That's kind of where I just want to end this. Again, like the pitching, I think I'm more encouraged about the pitching than I was, and I feel about the same with the hitting. Because those depth options, the bullpen, it's deep. It's deep. Now things got to click. They got to be good, but it's certainly deeper than I anticipated. You good over there?
I don't know why. I must have said something to my watch. It just started playing music.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know. It's been a rough morning. I don't know what's going on.
If this is reversed,
oh, I'd be all. No, I must have said something, and all of a sudden my watch just started playing Guster out of all people.
Okay.
I don't understand what's happening.
You know what we need to bring this back on track? Stabilize everything. We need some Ryan Borucki talk.
I could go for some Ryan Borucki talk.
Again, I mean, talking about the depth of this bullpen, right? I mean, we knew it was a strength last year. We knew, and then it turned out not to be. But some of the players that we thought to make us comfortable as being the strength last year, right? They're coming in, they're looking decent. But again, you're talking about all this depth. And Ryan Borucki's on the outside looking in. This is a guy who doesn't even have a roster spot, technically. Ryan Borucki's looking good. Ryan Borucki is looking like the reasons why we called him king. And again, like, why are you excited about this bullpen? He might not make the team. King Borucki, James. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so far this spring, 5 innings, 2 hits. He does have 5 walks, but 5 strikeouts. So you like the strikeouts, you like the limiting of the offense. The walks certainly probably like the one thing, and I think we've seen him kind of have that shaky outing from time to time where he's struggling to find the zone, but he gets out of it pretty much every time. But yeah, 0.00 ERA in his 5 1-inning appearances so far. Yeah, and I feel like he's coming in early in games too. Like he's not necessarily facing the worst competition, so he's doing it against big leaguers for the most part. But yeah, I mean, so far, you're looking for that guy to hold down. Who's going to be that second lefty out of the bullpen? And even if he's not the second lefty, like they're probably going to need a third lefty at some point. So it's nice to know. Okay, you've got Caleb Ferguson. Tim Meza definitely has the inside track because he's on the 40-man. But Ryan Borucki right now doing everything he can to make this team. And on top of that, Borucki has an opt-out. So, like, Borucki is pitching not only for a job on the Pirates, but he's pitching for a job in Major League Baseball. So the Pirates, it is going to be an interesting situation at the end of the spring where, like, if Borucki doesn't latch on and go, I guess they're going south. So you're not going north with the club this year.
Yeah.
They're actually going south to Miami. If he's not going south to Miami with the team, there's 29 other major league teams out there. All of them need lefty relievers. It's going to be interesting. I wonder if he's kind of one of those prime candidates like last year was Chase Anderson, at the end of the year, had a really good spring. There just wasn't room for him in the Pirates bullpen at that point. and you saw him get a major league deal with the Red Sox. So look for that to happen. I definitely don't want to lose Ryan Borucki, but I feel like he's someone who I would be surprised if he's not on someone's opening day roster.
That's how I feel.
He's
done it. He's done it before. And last year was a lot of injuries. You understand why the outcome looked poor. But he's healthy again. And he's looking closer to what he was in 23, which was a really, really good year. And like you mentioned, Jim, I mean, every team needs arms. Whether you're a good team or a bad team, you're going to need arms. And think about the Pirates. If the Pirates in 2021 and a guy like Ryan Borucki was available, what he's done right now, Pirates would take a flyer on him. Absolutely. So that's what we're coming into here is Ryan Borucki could be somewhere else. I don't know what they're going to do with him. And John asked a question here. Pretty interesting. Do you guys think Mlodzinski makes the team? Since he has options and wants a shot at starting, he seems the most expendable if they want Strzelecki or Borucki to make the team. And I think it's less of he wanting to be a starter, but just the fact of how do we want to hold on to all these arms, right? You want to have the best people up there, but at the same time, you want to maneuver things so you have as many options, as many bullets, expendable to you throughout the course of the season. And if Ryan Borucki doesn't make the team, like you mentioned, he has that opt out, he could make it for somebody else. So do you play options games with people? Do you not maybe send the best up so you can have Borucki in here or not? That's what's going to be an interesting storyline, come closer to the end of this. If Ryan Borucki's still performing, what are they going to do? Because again, he kind of is on the outside looking in. They have a Caleb Ferguson, they have Tim Meza. Those are the lefties. Do you carry Borucki as well? Or do you say, Ryan, we appreciate everything you've done. This is why we gave you that clause, that this contract, and if another team wants you, so be it. You've deserved it.
Yeah. I think Mlodzinski's still likely in this bullpen. I mean, the odds are too, I mean, you hate to say it, but there's still 2 more weeks here. The odds that another bullpen arm goes down and gets hurt is probably pretty high too. I mean, it's just a numbers game. It is. Is kind of how it works. Roster Resource, interesting enough, has Joey Wentz making the team, as well as newcomer Justin Lawrence, who we talked about last week. They also have Carmen Mlodzinski making the team too. But I'm going to say Mlodzinski is on this team, and I think Mlodzinski is going to carry it. If they are looking at Mlodzinski as that guy who they can stretch out a little bit, I don't think they're making him a starter. I think Mlodzinski wants to be a starter, but I think the Pirates may be stretching him out just so that he could go that multi-inning reliever role. Maybe Carmen Mlodzinski slides into that long relief role, and that's kind of more what he does this year, but just kind of a versatile middle reliever that you can deploy in multiple ways. But yeah, Roster Resource still has Joey Wentz on this team also, so you wonder if Justin Lawrence, Joey Wentz, Ryan Borucki, they don't have Kyle Nicholas on this team, and I gotta imagine Nicholas makes this team. The stuff's just so nasty. I can't leave Kyle Nicholas out of this bullpen right now. So yeah, I mean it's starting to get a little tight there. Like I said, Justin Lawrence is we haven't seen yet, so we'll have to see how he looks. Wentz, Borucki, Nicholas. I guess 2 out of those 4 make the team. You add Mlodzinski in there, 3 out of those 5 still have to make the team. So the lack of options is one thing. I think it would matter if Strzelecki was someone where you're we got to have this guy on the team. That's one thing. Joey Wentz also has 0 options. We got to have Joey Wentz on this team, but right now I'm not to the point where I've got to have Strzelecki and Joey Wentz on this team. There's a few options there with 0 options remaining. Are they worth starting a Mlodzinski or a Nicholas in the minors, or losing Borucki to keep a Joey Wentz or a Strzelecki? Right now, I'm at a no. If that's the question. Those guys haven't shown me enough to be I'd rather keep them and have these other guys in the minors.
But here's the thing, Jim, and that's why you feel pretty optimistic and good about this bullpen, and why it's a little bit different this year than years past, is because those are all valid arguments. These are real options. It's not as if years past where these guys all stink. Like some of these guys don't even belong on major league rosters. There's guys are going to be left off. I mean, we're talking about real battles. Ryan Borucki could be a staple in someone's bullpen this year, and the Pirates can't find a way to fit him in. That's a good thing. Like, we've come to a point now, at least with the bullpen and the pitching side, that like there's just not room. You know what? We're too good for some of these guys that we just can't fit you into our plans. So like, again, that's what we're talking about with this bullpen. Like, there are some real solid options, and like even the Justin Lawrence's, something in the comments here. Like, there is real intrigue with him. I do really like that pickup. It made a lot of sense when he was waived. The Pirates made the move, and I like it. I do like it. I think he can find and have success here. It's still, he's coming off a very terrible year, so it's not a sure thing. But like, he is a real major league pitcher. Ryan Borucki is a real major league pitcher. Joey Wentz a real major league pitcher. So, and then you're talking about the Majinskis and the Cal Nicholases. I mean, does the upside, especially with Nicholas, the upside there. So these are guys that all can be part of, an actual bullpen. So again, kudos to the Pirates right now on that sense. Like, there's real battles that are meaningful right now.
Yeah, there's the bullpen is deep. I said those the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th guys in the bullpen, for the most part, are a higher caliber than I think what we've seen in years past. That's not to say they're elite relievers by any means, but they're like, they all belong in this conversation. There's no one here that we're talking about that it's like, why are we doing this? Like, Strzelecki has overall pretty decent major league numbers. He's having a good camp. Joey Wentz has performed at the major league level at times. He's having a decent camp. So like, all these guys are, doing what they're supposed to. I think Wentz is intriguing just because of the length that he offers. Like, that's kind of what he brings you, is the ability to go multiple innings and start in a pinch if you have to. But he just, I guess if I had to choose, Wentz is probably my guy on looking out right now. And I don't hate Strzelecki either. And just the fact that his name is Strzelecki, just another Pittsburgher name out there.
Right.
We need all the
Z's. Going to make
and,
sure he comments in here every time.
Yeah, need all the Z's and Skenes and
right.
Yeah, let's get all those folks.
Well, like another guy too. Now, he's not going to make the team. I would imagine so. Again, with this roster crunch, but Eddy Yean, there's he had some success last year. There's a little bit of a buzz and talk about him as far as this reliever goes, and he showed up to camp now. And Eddy Yean also performing quite well. I mean, he's in this mix, but like I said, probably not going to make it. I mean, he's probably going to stay in the minors, but like some more depth, some more actual options. Looking at him, what he presents, there's some reasons to have some eyes on Eddy Yean right now. So also 5 innings, no earned runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Eddy Yean.
Yeah, I mean, he was a name that we all knew about whenever the Josh Bell trade happened. It's just taken him a really long time to get to this point now. Yeah, I guess with Yean, he is getting into the games late. So like, this is the caveat on Eddy Yean, right? He's pitched 4 innings. He's facing the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning reserves. Not necessarily facing the best of competition, but he's been effective when he's doing it, and you are seeing him perform a little bit better, as he's been in the system longer and longer. He's 23 years old, so it's not like he's this 25, 26-year-old guy. He just seems like he's been in this Pirates minor league system forever. 2020, since 2021. Again, it's taken him a while to get through the system. 2 years in Greensboro, but last year in Altoona, he was largely pretty effective and reached AAA. I don't think Eddy Yean is making this team by any means, but he's a good arm that you can stash in AAA, and see what happens. The stuff's pretty good. I said he's getting hitters out right now. He got hitters out last year. Like I said, his season that he put together last year was encouraging because he hasn't been effective his entire time in the Pirates organization. Like he's been quite bad since arriving. And so it was refreshing to see last season happen. It was the most innings he has thrown in a season in his minor league career. So, I mean, he was like a workhorse out of that bullpen last year. 75 innings out of the bullpen in between Double A and Triple A. So, yeah, just keep going. I mean, like I said, 23. So, like, it's not time to. There's no reason to give up on this guy. He's not necessarily who we thought he was at the time of acquisition, but he has gotten better as he's progressed.
Right. Yep. And the walks came way down too, going into the bullpen last year. So again, like there's some encouraging things. Now we're not saying like, we're banking on Eddy Yean and how great he is, but he does add to that mix. He's some depth. Definitely guys going to be in AAA, so you don't have to worry about that. But again, he's having a pretty solid camp after coming off of a pretty solid minor league year where he transitioned into the bullpen. So yeah, Eddy Yean, pretty good camp so far. And then let's just again talk about Jared Jones just a little bit. Jared, Mitch, Paul, like the 3-horse guys. They're the guys going to carry this rotation. They're all looking pretty damn good. Of course, Skenes has probably looked pretty good, right? Yeah.
But I mean, and out of those three, like Jared Jones is really impressing me. And he's somebody who the Pirates really need to be closer to, first half Jared Jones than last half Jared Jones. If Jared Jones is able to give you 5 to 6 really effective innings, time in, time out there, striking people out, like his strikeout numbers are great so far this spring. You'd love to see him go deeper into games, but I think I'm almost to the point now where I'm just like, that's just not who Jared Jones is. Like Jared Jones isn't that guy who's going to give you 7 or 8 innings. He's going to give you 5 or 6. But in those 5 or 6, he's going to strike out 5 to 10 batters, depending on the day and how effective his pitches are, and hopefully he can give you 0, 1, or 2 runs, like in those innings. And if he's able to do that consistently, then you're looking at a really, really good pitcher. Also, you're looking at where that's when it's nice to have some guys in the bullpen who can maybe go 2 innings at a time. So having these multiple guys who are stretched out will be good. But no, the stuff from Jared Jones so far, I love the way the changeup's looking. His fastball looks good. His new 2-seamer, when he's locating it, like it's really effective, especially in on righties. So yeah, I really like what I'm seeing out of Jones this spring, just from a pure stuff standpoint and the new stuff that he's trying. I'm really looking forward to his sophomore campaign. I think we all like Paul Skenes, obviously, like I'm excited about. Like he's the best pitcher in the world. But Jared Jones looks good. He looks really good. Looks every bit as good as he did last year in spring. And that was when he just took the world by storm.
No, I agree, man. He does look good. It is one of the things that gets you excited because he was a polarizing topic, I felt, in the offseason. Trade him now. Trade him at his high point. Like, this guy is not going to be that good of a pitcher. He only has 2 pitches. You saw what he did the second half. He got lit up. Get rid of him now. Trade him at his peak. We need a bat. And there's some on the other side, which, and again, like, mind you, also, if like that trade would have happened and they got a big bat, if it made sense, I'd probably been okay with it. But I was not advocating for it. The reason I wasn't advocating for it is because, guys, Jared Jones could be really, really good. On the other sense, look what he's done with just 2 pitches. What if he does learn a third, or and hones in on his craft and performs and perfects his other pitches and such? And that's what this offseason kind of presented. And we're seeing him coming into this year, and he's adding that 5th pitch now also, and stuff's looking pretty good. And the one thing you never have to worry about with Jared Jones is he confident? He's confident. He looks very confident out there. He trusts himself. But like the pitching looks pretty damn good. Now, what you said about Jared Jones, he is what he kind of is. Maybe he's going to be the guy that's giving you 5 innings. That's it, not 6 or 7. And that could be the case. That's also why it's kind of important for Paul to make sure he's more efficient. The dope meter got to be high on Paul Skenes. That's what he's coming into this year trying to improve on. But that's also why Mitch Keller is very important, right? And I think he's so undervalued is because Mitch Keller is the guy that gives you innings. Mitch Keller is the guy that saves the bullpen. And Mitch Keller is also seemingly ditching the cutter.
Yeah,
Jim?
he hasn't been throwing it.
He's not throwing it yet this year in spring. I don't know if that's anything, but we know, and you can ask Doug. Doug is, if you've heard Doug, right, just ditch the cutter. If maybe he's ditching the cutter, which is like clearly his worst pitch, he's also, Mitch Keller's looked pretty good this year as well.
Yeah, your 3 starting pitchers that you're really, really relying on, all looking good. And yeah, no cutters from Mitch is certainly, like, that's an interesting thing. It's his worst pitch. So you would think your worst pitch, you would be working on it during spring training if it was a pitch that you were planning on throwing during the season. So the fact that Mitch is not throwing his cutter this spring certainly makes me think that he's ditching his cutter.
Yeah. Kind of makes me think the same.
Yeah. And he's not a guy who necessarily needs it. I mean, he's got multiple. I mean, Mitch threw what, 6 pitches last year? And so if he ditches the cutter, he throws 5, right?
6 identified.
Yeah, if you got 6 pitches and you drop your worst one and you're left with your best 5, like I'm good with that. And that's certainly there's a lot of damage done off of that cutter.
I mean, yeah, technically he had 7. He also threw a changeup 21 times. So it's like technically,
yeah,
7. But I'm with you. Well, that's also like kind of encouraging. Getting better by just elimination. You know, he just eliminating the cutter. Is Mitch Keller going to have a better year this year? I don't know. Time will tell. But that's like you said, something that's interesting. Be mindful of it. He's ditched the cutter, which was awful. And how awful, like, again, last year he had they slugged 593 off of it. 7 home runs. Like, of all the pitches he threw, that clearly had the most home runs. Second most was 4, which was his 4-seam and sinker, which he threw twice as much, 3 times as much, basically. So, yeah, ditching the cutter, it's kind of encouraging. Maybe Mitch Keller is better by just simply not throwing a cutter. We'll find out. All right. Anything else you want to talk about on the pitching side?
No, I'm good.
Cool. How about Oneil Cruz? I know we talked about him on NS9 Live a bit, how we're encouraged. Apparently he and Cutch are talking quite a bit. Cutch gave me a little mentorship. Tommy Pham also kind of giving a little mentorship for Oneil Cruz. Big year for Oneil Cruz coming up.
Yeah, I think we went into depth, on NS9 Live, really about what we expect from Oneil Cruz. But I think the part of this conversation that I want to talk about is just, Andrew McCutchen, Alex Stumpf wrote an article, kind of just getting Andrew McCutchen's thoughts on Oneil Cruz, what he expects from him, what his ceiling could be. And, there was some interesting quotes in there. One of them, see here. What's Cruz's ceiling? McCutchen, there is none. He doesn't have one yet. You've got Shohei Ohtani. He's in his own threshold being a pitcher and a position player. He does things that people go, I've never seen that done. Cruz does the same stuff you've never seen, right? So, like, that's pretty high praise coming from Andrew McCutchen. Another thing, too, says, he's seen my numbers in the past. He's like, I want to do that. And Cutch says, you can do that easy. And then him being able to understand and hear that from him, you can do that in your sleep. It's just a matter of you believing that you can do it and finding a way to do it and doing it in a way that works for you. So it's kind of fun seeing those two interact, because we've talked about this time and time again, that you need a Andrew McCutchen type offensive season out of Oneil Cruz. He's the only player on this team who's even remotely capable of giving you a season like that. So if he does that, then you're looking at this team being a playoff team. So like what is Cruz's ceiling? Can he hit that ceiling? And if Andrew McCutchen can at least get him in the right mentality to get close to it, that would be ideal. Because yeah, like, this is a team that could desperately use an 8-win center fielder. Like
Yeah.
they could desperately use that right now.
100%. 100%. We know the ceiling, whether you think there is none or not. The ceiling we know is high for Oneil Cruz. It's, what is he going to be? Is he going to obtain that ceiling? Attain, I should say. And there's a lot of positive things to think about this year. Again, we talked about, I'm not going to harp on that. But again, like I think some of the things of note, like you mentioned, just the mentorship, the leadership of Andrew McCutchen, seeing them kind of tied. But I also want to transition from that to Tommy Pham a bit. Jason Mackey also wrote an article on Tommy Pham yesterday, and just kind of highlighting like his leadership and his value and role to this club. And again, like Oneil Cruz has to do these things, right? But some of these other players can help the process, right? And that's why I think it's kind of encouraging too, because Tommy Pham, you read that article, a lot to do with that too. I mean, talk about someone who's making people accountable, right? Some stuff he said. There's a good thing about like Shawinski, when Shawinski took off for second and was out, and he was like, bro, that was just terrible timing. Like now it's no one on my count. Like just like the stuff that he's saying, talking about, right? Something that this team has been missing. But I guess my point, and I'll give you the floor here, but like the Tommy Pham signing, Andrew McCutchen, like the leadership in that clubhouse, that's some good signs, right? And the Tommy Pham signing, him bringing that leadership, and what are your thoughts on what you've been seeing about with Tommy Pham in that article as well?
Yeah, it was a really good article by Jason Mackey. If you ever read it, it's on Post Gazette. And he brings up a lot of good points. Like obviously the Tommy Pham signing, I don't think any of us love. Like none of us loved.
Right.
Like we thought we could do better. Right. This was the off season to do better than that. With that being said, Tommy Pham's the left fielder, and we're gonna he's our guy, so we got to ride with him, right? And so now that he's here, you're certainly seeing him be that guy. Like he's the vocal leader on the team who's holding people accountable. And you look at this team, especially during the Derek Shelton era. I'm not necessarily blaming Derek Shelton for this because he's had really bad players to work with at times. But this is a team where over the last 5 years has lacked just fundamentals and just doing things right.
Yeah.
You just see it time and time again, just on the field, just mental lapses, people not doing what they're supposed to, throwing balls to wrong bases, running, the getting thrown out on the bases like a nincompoop. However you want to slice and dice it, like this is a team that over the last 5 years just hasn't looked good.
Yeah.
And so now you've got, and there's, and believe me, like the coaches are telling these guys what to do. It's not like the coaches are preaching poor behavior on the field. There was an instance over the weekend, Oneil Cruz just, not looking great in the outfield, comes in and has a conversation with the coaches right away. So like the coaches are telling them, hey, here's what we need to work on. Here's how you should handle the situation. But it's different when it comes from one of your peers, right? When one of your peers is now saying, hey, you messed up, right? You messed up. You need to be doing things this way. It hits different, right? Now I think Pham has earned the right to be able to do these things and say these things. He's a longtime major league veteran. I mean, Tommy Pham, the service time, 9 years of service time. He's going to hit 10 years this year. He's been to the postseason multiple times. So this is someone who, if you're a younger player and Tommy Pham is telling you what to do and how to do things, you listen. I mean, that's a guy who's been in the major leagues for a really long time. So then it just brings upon like how important is this? And I guess we won't really know until we get into the season. Like we won't know like how important is this veteran leadership? How important is it that Andrew McCutchen and Oneil Cruz are kind of establishing this relationship where Cruz looks up to McCutchen and is like, I want to be you, right? I want to be you. Yeah. How important is it when Tommy Pham talks to Ji-Hwan Bae about running out a pop up? How important is it when Tommy Pham, lets Jack Swinsky know, hey, like, you messed up, you did something here that you shouldn't have done? How important is that? Is it going to translate to wins and losses? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I've never been like the guy who says like a clubhouse needs veteran leadership. What clubhouses need are good baseball players. So I would rather have the talent, I guess, than the leadership aspect from the player standpoint. So I think for me, it's just going to come down to, all right, can Tommy Pham perform? If Tommy Pham can perform, and at the same time, then he takes that leadership, that leadership role, I think this could turn out very well. If Tommy Pham, it's May, and he's got an OPS of 607, on May 8th, and he's still going out there and he's yelling at people, and then it's like, well, dude, you suck. Like, quit talking to me. You worry about yourself. So it's going to be curious to see how it plays out. I don't know how it's going to go, but so far I do like the fact that there is a guy out there who is letting these young people know when they mess up, even though it's spring training, because they mess up a lot. Like, plain and simple, they mess up a lot. And they need to be held accountable more when they mess up. I think we've all said that over the last 5 years. Like, you got these players where they do something and then it seems like there's basically no accountability for their play on the field. I've said that time and time and time again with this regime. So do we have more accountability now because there's a player who's going to be doing that? I don't know. We'll find out. Like John says, it's nuanced, right? It's not all one or other. There's levels to this. So it's like, how much is this going to affect this team? I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, and let me say a few things on that though. But before I do, I want to say here, and I know I said this before, I like the idea of a Tommy Pham on this team. When the signing happened, I think I said it too. Like, I like the idea of the presence of a Tommy Pham. But I thought this year was more about getting a true player than that, right? So that's where I still stand, and like when this article comes out and stuff, like I still appreciate what Tommy Pham's doing for that clubhouse with all this, right? But what is going to be more important in the year 2025 to me is that outfielder being a 2+ WAR player, if not better, which you should have obtained. Now, didn't happen. Tommy Pham's here. So with that being said, yes, I like what Tommy Pham's doing. I like how that could help the clubhouse. But that article irritated me, Jim. It did. It actually irritated. I appreciated it. It was a good article. Like, it's not anything about Jason Mackey or the article itself. What irritated me was, now let's highlight and talk about the veteran leadership and why it's important. You just said how you're not a guy, you're not really one for like veterans and that matters. But I disagree. I think you are, because we've been talking about it for like the past 2 years now. Like, what has this clubhouse needed? They've needed those vets. Like the problem isn't that, well, yeah, I guess you should say the problem is Tommy Pham's here now in this, but like the problem is this should have been an article written, if not last year, the year before. That's what this, like you said, this team's needed, and they have. And you've been rolling out with no leadership. Like, yeah, you brought in Andrew McCutchen, but Andrew McCutchen isn't really like that guy. He's the guy that like, hey, follow my example. But he's not really the guy that's going to be like Tommy Pham saying that was dumb. And that's probably saying it the nicest way that Tommy Pham will say it. But, like when you hear that, like you said, you hear your coaches tell you one thing. I mean, you still should listen. Like, that's still a communication breakdown at some point. But when you hear a player, right, that's one of you, that's a teammate saying some stuff, you kind of step back and say, whoa, I need to be better. That's what they've been missing for 2 years. This is the signing that should happen in 24, 23. So this year, you're getting good players because you don't need to worry so much about that, because these guys have had it. They've developed. They've learned that. The leadership thing to me does matter. But what you want is your good players to have that. And that's the problem. This clubhouse, I felt, has just been like a leaderless club for so long. It's just a plethora of talent that no one knows how to win. No one knows how to do the right things. No one has taught them how to. And now finally, they're talking about that in the year of 2025. that's where I come and have a problem with this. I like the idea. Tommy Phams on baseball teams are usually good things. He's not the main guy though. That's his club needs, is the main guy. They need a hitter. This stuff should have been addressed years in the past. That's all. That's why I was irritated. So I'm like, we've been talking about this for how freaking long. We thought things were changing when the Cutch signing happened, when Carlos Santana came in. And then like last year, they just said, all right, we're good. Nothing. And here we are. Maybe these guys should have been given this. And now we're focused more on winning than the clubhouse. That's all. That's where I was.
Yeah. Again, it's I agree with you. I think there is something to it. It's to be determined how important and how impactful it actually is to how the season goes.
Cool. All right. I guess outside of that, anything else that you really wanted to hit on?
How about this Paul Skenes patch card, this debut card, right? I mean, obviously it was a circus, trying to find this thing. Story comes out, a kid from LA finds it. Mm-hmm. Pirates had this crazy offer. Kid said no. It's up for auction right now, and it's currently at $550,000.
Yeah,
10 days remaining in this auction. What do you think this gets to?
So you're asking me. I'll give my perspective because you're more the expert in this field if there's an expert of one. But what I will say is I guess there's still 10 more days that the value is going to go up. But the hype around this could be a multi-million-dollar card, if not like $1 million card, right? So, and that's also why I do say like the Pirates offer was competitive in the sense of like total value, like the value you're getting and all that. It's a lot of stuff you're getting. It's just that it's over, a 30-year period of time.
Yeah.
And also like you're a kid from LA, the Pirates season tickets mean anything to you? And if not, then you're probably going, well, the value of that. So if you sell them, you can recoup and make it. Well, then it's 30 years worth of work. Do you really want to go through that? Right. So it's like, just sell it. Give me the money now. I get all that. Right. But again, the whole thought was like, hey, this could be like $1 million floor, maybe a $1.5 million card or something like that. And like, wow, but $500,000 is probably not what you wanted to hear at this point in time. My takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 10 days in this. I think this is nowhere near where this card is going to end up. I think what's interesting is the Jackson Holiday card is also up right now, as is the Mason Wynn card. I think Holiday's at 50,000 right now. Mason Wynn's sitting at like 150,000. Jackson Holiday, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, 550 grand, 10 days left. So this card will be done. It's going to end March 20th, the evening of March 20th, it sounds like. I'm going to say this thing gets up to like, I don't know. I feel like the Skenes hype is it's just running crazy. It still is. Like, it hasn't stopped since his debut. I think this card sells for $1.5 million.
Oh, okay. So you're still there.
Yeah. I think so.
Legit. Okay.
Yeah, it's he's just Paul Skenes, so hot right now. So hot right now.
Are they aware he has 2 more pitches? Did we let the bidders know?
You know what? It was going to be 1.3 million, and it's 100K for each pitch added on.
Was this all Topps propaganda as well? Did Topps tell Paul to learn 2 more pitches?
Maybe
make the value of his card go up.
Maybe it doesn't mention anything about his 2 new pitches in the description on the auction. So maybe they're not. Maybe they're not familiar.
You know what? Maybe this is all a ploy all along too. Maybe Paul grew the beard out because these are going to be the only cards ever in existence that has Paul Skenes with a mustache.
Well, he had a lot of cards last year.
Yeah, but that's it. This rookie season,
Also,
mustache.
all of his cards
After that,
this year,
no mustache.
all of his cards this year will be pictures from last year.
Okay, good point.
But no, it's it's on Fanat. If you want to check it out, if you want to bid, if anybody out there is a baller that we're not aware of,
Bob,
you
want to bid?
Yeah, if you are capable of bidding on this card right now, it's at Fanatics Collect, $550,000. Also, if you're capable of bidding that amount on a card, join our Patreon. It's $4.99 a month.
The best value you'll ever get.
Gift Patreon memberships to every subscriber.
There you go.
Do something like that. But
we are also
550 grand
this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this has another million or so to go. That's my guess.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. Like I said, you're definitely more the expert. When I saw the $500,000, I know there's 10 more days, but I was like, ooh, I'm not sure if that's good then. But you're still encouraged by it, so that's cool.
Yeah, it hasn't really moved much in the last 24 hours or so, but there's still quite a bit of time.
Awesome. All right. Well, kudos to that kid then.
Yeah,
he's gonna be making some money.
Right.
Lit. Cool, Jim. All right. So is that everything for today's show?
That's everything. It's spring training for the Pirates. It's also spring training for us with the post game shows. We have 4 post game shows we're doing this spring. We did one last Monday with Neil and Cody. We've got another post game show coming tonight. So the game today is an evening game, and we will be coming at you live tonight for another post-game show. So again, if the Pirates win, we'll give away sandwiches. So make sure you tune in after the game. And then Wednesday, the Pirates Fangraphs top prospect list should be coming out this week. And Wednesday, Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs to talk Pirates prospects, which is perfect timing. You got spring breakout coming out on Friday. So we'll talk about all the really interesting people on that list and everybody who you can watch on Friday.
Yeah, for sure. Big week, big year coming up. Good stuff. But yeah, tune in tonight. And I think, again, fans maybe forget, we're powered by Permani Brothers giving away free sandwiches. And we're going to do that for the spring training games as well. So if they do win tonight, chance of free sandwiches. And Jim, this year also, just so we know, once the season comes along, we're giving away 4 sandwiches this year. We've doubled the amount. 4 sandwiches. You can see me. And then, I love Eric Longenhagen. That show was great when we had on. We're going to have him on again, talk prospects. Super knowledgeable, super deep in his knowledge with the Pirate system, which is crazy to me. But should be a good show. So tune in this week. So we'll see you guys tonight and then later this week. So with that said, we appreciate y'all. Go ahead and like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See you guys. All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.